Cooper hasn't done that I can say he should do to say he's
done it all.
He won that championship. That was it.
You can do everything. He's done everything. He's scored a lot of assists.
The only thing that can cap off his career is becoming Mr. Basketball.
So why is it that when I watched Wild Odom, did I feel like he's the best player? Every time I watch Wild Odom play, I feel like I'm seeing something special. Like I'm seeing something that I'm not gonna maybe not see again. I said that for a long time. BJ Boston was my favorite high school player in Georgia. I don't get that feeling that I'm seeing something I'll never see again.
It's the Love of the Game podcast. Let's go. Hey, listen, man. Listen, man. We are getting ready for the live period. We're getting ready for the first live period of the summer. And I'm telling y'all, this is going to be one of the most impactful, one of the most beautiful, impactful shows that I've ever done. And that is no cap. This is going to be one of the most beautiful, one of the most impactful shows that I have ever done. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm happy the people that are locked in with it. This is going to be fantastic. And I can't wait to share this with y'all, man. Like the conversation that just took place backstage. I'm telling you, like this is big. This is big. This is big because, man, it's fun. Like I like to crack jokes. I like to you know what I mean, take off a lot of gunshots. And like I like to get with it, man. But like the conversations that I know are gonna help somebody. The conversations that I know are going to benefit people, that are going to push the culture forward, that may positively impact people are the ones that I love the most. And there can't be a conversation that takes place better today. This one, Love and Happiness is the title, man. Before we get done, y'all going to see why, man. Love and Happiness. If I could play Al Green without getting kicked off the stream, I promise you I would. I promise you I would. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we in the building. We're in the building. We're in the building. I'm giving some gunshots while guys is in here. We're in the building. Let's drop a bomb for the homies. Let's drop a bomb for the homies. Hey, man, listen, when you follow on YouTube, when you turn on your notifications, I already know because y'all be the first ones in the building. Hey, man, shout out to all the homies, man. I appreciate y'all. Like all the real hoop heads in the building. I see y'all fouling in, man. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. This is going to be great, man. So, look, I'm going to bring up some of my guys before I bring up our special guest. I'm going to bring up some of my guys. We got the owner-operator of the men's and women's Hoops Hidden Gems. David Jones, my boy just placed somebody on the women's team at LSU. Holla at my dog.
What's going on, man?
Come see about my dog. One of the top evaluators in basketball, especially on the women's side, but y'all don't want to see him on that JUCO side either. On the post-grad side, my homeboy covering ground. Hey, man, congratulations. Shout out to my dog.
Appreciate it, bro. What's going on?
Hey, man, pay this man. Stop asking about his service and run that man his check. Hey, big dog. No lie, bro. Hey, man, congratulations. That LSU placement is big time. I know the family is excited. I know everybody's pumped up, but that's a lot of hard work and dedication by you to get that young lady the note. Like, just real quick, give me like 30-second spiel on like where y'all started with this young lady, her name, and where she going?
Hey, definitely congratulations to Jada Richard, who's the #1 prospect out of Louisiana. And how crazy it is, man. She's the #1 prospect, and nobody knew about her outside of that region of Louisiana, Texas, and a piece of Mississippi. So actually, she was referred to me by another one of my clients. Shout out to Kristen Narcisse, who's a South Alabama signee as well. Her dad was like, "Hey, man, there's another young lady that I want you to, look at." And I saw her. She's like a female Iverson. And you remember I used to tell you that. I was like, "Bro, you got to see this one. You got to." And so when I started seeing, I was like, "Okay, is she crazy? What's the problem?" And they were like, "No, 4.0 student, everything." The #1 2023 player is from Louisiana as well in the whole United States. She hit her off for 39. And I was like, "Okay, man, what are we talking right here?" So, they signed up for the service. I gave her my word. I said, "Listen, I promise you, within 2-3 weeks, you will start getting calls." She already had the Southern Miss, all the Louisiana schools, but nobody knew of her outside the region. Fortunately, I was able to call the assistant coach up at UConn. UConn saw the tape, and I sent them the full game. They flew down there to see her.
Hey man, that's my boy low key saying he the plug. hey, don't he not gonna pat his back like that and he gonna try to slide that in. But when you can pick up the phone and call UConn and they schedule a flight, my boy trying to tell y'all he the plug. Who want that smoke?
Man, but I'll say this real quick as you bringing everybody on. When you got those grades, Stanford was in, everybody was in. And once she started to get that buzz, LSU was like, "Oh no, we got to make a move." And they start recruiting her really hard, especially after she hit Michaela Williams, the #1 2023 player in the whole country, hit her off for 39. And I went on Twitter and was like, "If you don't recruit her, you're crazy. You're crazy." I was like, "This isn't even," I said, "You'll lose your job if your head coach finds out you didn't recruit this young lady and they see who she is. Jump on her now." And I said, "I'm not about upselling anybody, but I said, I'm as confident as day you will not turn her down." And that was the case. So some of the people that tried to jump in late, too late now. She's going to the national champs.
Hey man, I be trying to tell y'all, and this is why I open this thing up for a lot of people to join, because the circle of Atlanta basketball, I'm trying to help y'all get to know. It's so many movers and shakers that y'all don't know. We trying to make introductions, man. But I want to bring up my guy too, man. AAU guy, high school coach, somebody that really in these AAU streets, in these training kids streets, in these developing kids on and off the floor streets, in the, hey, if I'm on your staff, you're going farther than you've ever been streets. Hey man, hey, Coach Carlos Wallace, big dog. Hey man, I'm not gonna hold it against you that you're an Arkansas guy and you're an Arkansas fan and all that stuff. I'm not gonna hold it against you.
I'll let you slide tonight.
Hey,
Los,
shout out to Coach Neighbors
dog?
though. Shout out to Coach Neighbors on the women's side of Arkansas. Good dude, real good dude.
Los, how you doing, man? How's everything going, bro?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Appreciate it. Appreciate you getting me on too.
No doubt. Hey, are you coaching AAU this year, or are you taking vacation?
Nah, you can call it like a semi-vacation. Doing just some stuff in the background for some kids, man. Trying to make sure we get the kids in the right places on a high school level. Camps, generate interest, generate buzz for them. So just working for some guys in the background, man.
Los helped North Cobb Christian. Right. Los had North Cobb Christian rolling, man. I saw y'all in y'all Lemon Street run. Los on the clipboard in timeouts, drawing it up, getting it done. I appreciate y'all coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, so we got a former college assistant, current high school coach assistant. We showed some of them dogs, some of them goons that he had last night over at Holy Innocents. Coach Taylor was good.
What's up, fellas? Everybody good?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Not
We
too
good,
much.
man.
Ready to go
Hey.
tonight. I'm ready to go.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey, man. So without further ado, man, we're going to bring in the star of the show, the star of the conversation. When you talk about a supportive father, right? Like hey, one thing I love about this show, all us are black dads, man. They act like we don't exist. They act like we ain't out here in the community trying to help people and fathering our own kids. I love tearing down that bad perspective because it's black fathers that are involved. And sometimes when we're involved, they try to turn us into a villain. Like they tried to do to our next guest, man. We're gonna get into the background and all that. Big AJ White, Big AJ.
What's up, man? Appreciate y'all.
Hey, man.
Appreciate y'all. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
And we good, man. We
All
good.
good. All good.
Doing
Man,
good,
let me
man.
say this. Let me kick this off, Dre. Hey, man, I'm so happy for you, man, and AJ. You know, past the post grad, you know, I've been fortunate enough to follow you all. You know, broadcasting the tournament, broadcasting the North Georgia Clayton State game, man, and to see where he's at, man. That story you about to share tonight, bro. Oof. Hey, some of y'all men out there, hey, keep them tears to a minimum.
Yeah,
Hey,
man. I have to keep mine down sometimes, man. It's God is amazing, man.
One of the most decorated kids in our game. So let's jump right into it, man. Coach, if you could just tell us and like let's start on how you guys decided to move to Atlanta, his story, you know, as far as getting to selecting a school and the accomplishments. I really want everybody to know how the career went because most of these kids that are complaining about their offer list didn't accomplish a quarter of what you guys accomplished in a high school career. So I would just love for you to, I'm going to step out of the way and just love for you to give some background on AJ White, on you, the family, your wonderful wife, all that, and just tell us how you guys came to Georgia and then what the progression was like all the way through high school.
Well, first being from Memphis, Tennessee, we decided to relocate here, man. AJ played along the side of probably some of the guys they know in college now, man. He was a teammate of DJ Jeffries that played with Mississippi State. The Lawson kids, I mean, like every last one of the University of Memphis guys, man, that are current now. Jonathan Lawson, he played with and against those cats, man. So coming out of the 8th grade and moving here, it was a challenge educational wise. And I really wanted to get a grasp of the education first before, especially with relocating here to Georgia. So what happened was he ended up going to Richards and playing up under Tanari Lang. We spoke with we came up and did our due justice with him and his mom, man. And he was already I think he was at Grayson when we went over to Richards. He was in high school then. And played there, man, and led them, played against Ian Shefflin when they was all in the 8th grade. Man, moved up here, man, and one of the first AAU programs that I was with was Game Elite. We was originally Game Elite.
Yep.
Through a good friend of mine, man, that's back home, Cowboy, plugged me in with Ryan. that's head of Game Elite. So after that, man, we just kind of try to find our way, man. I knew he can shoot the basketball, but a lot of people don't know, man. AJ taught himself how to be a point guard. So what really changed everything for AJ, and to be honest, is that when we went and we played with Coach Stokes for Southern Stampede the year before they folded.
Mm-hmm.
And Norm, that's a Georgia Stars, offered him a job over there. He just told me, he said, listen, if I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna help out or be an assistant or do anything over there with the Stars, then I'm gonna bring two of my guys, two guys that I can trust. And one of them was Jamal Kleiss, and the other one was AJ. And I tell this story, man, and me and Julius, a lot of people thought me and the old coach of the Stars, man, we had some type of issues or this and that, but not. Julius never, and he was honest. He never wanted AJ, and that's that looking when somebody look at that eye test, you don't pass it. But AJ said, no, we was at Norcross High School. He was like, man, they put him on this second, third team, man, and they just kind of started treating him like a little scrub the first couple of weeks that we went over there for practice. Okay, all right. AJ said, man, you know what? I said, man, we can leave. We ain't got to stay here. We can go play somewhere else. He said, no, I want to show him. So fast forward, 2 Peach Jams. I think he started out, man, went down to Peach Jam. I think he hit Boo Williams with 29 at halftime. And that's the one that they end up coming out again, man, triple team and double team. I think he led 2 years in a row, man, Peach Jam, Georgia Stars Peach Jam with like 17 or 18 points a game. And we played against a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But Georgia Stars changed AJ. That first year we went to Chattahoochee, man, we chose to go. We went to Chattahoochee because we were actually zoned to go to Berkmar. But over the summertime, I got to deal with to move out towards Johns Creek. And I was talking to PJ Brown, man, and me and PJ go back. He was like, man, listen, man, bring him out here, man. I got my son out here at Johns Creek. So I walked right into Johns Creek High School. That's the first high school I went into. Gave them the address that I moved into. He said, nah, you Chattahoochee. So we went inside of Chattahoochee, man, and we met up with Coach Short first year there, and Ryan Jackson, one of the twins. And AJ told him what grade he was in. He was like, I'm in the 9th grade. He said, go down there. Go on the other end down there. As most coaches do, because freshmen.
Yep.
So AJ stood up and looked me right in the face and said, no, I'm not going down there. Ain't nothing down there for me. And he started from there where he paid respect to some of the guys that were the older cats that was there, the seniors. But if anybody know anything about AJ, he hates to lose.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, the points wise, all of that came. But once he got to that first year, man, he averaged like 17 points a game his freshman year. We went back with the Stars that second year, man, and he took them to the Peach Jam. He come out of there, Peach Jam, bro. And everybody know that historic 10th grade year was, man, I think he started out, man, at Berkmar 39, 32, 25, 28, 34, 26. It was a pace that was crazy.
Yeah.
And that year prepped him, and between him and Coach Short and them, man, they kind of prepped him for, and I told Coach Short, and I was like, listen, man, I understand the Rotary tournaments and all of this other good stuff, man, but we need some competition. They need some competition. So when we come back here, and Coach Short was like, okay, well, what do you suggest? I said, let's go to over Wheeler High School.
I was there.
We played over there in the back gym. They gave an opportunity to play in the back gym over there. And it was probably one of the greatest games, man, that has never been recorded, because they were leaving the main gym to come to the Ox gym because it was, I think RJ Noah played on that Green Forest team. And they went into 5 overtimes. 93 to 90, Chattahoochee won that. And it kind of set a stage, man, for, okay, well, next year we need to put them out on the big court.
Yep.
So I wanted the smoke. We wanted the smoke because we knew, like, come on, man, like, it's coming from when we from, man, like, you see Penny talk about it all the time, man. We want the smoke. So bring up the heat so we can either gonna fold or we're gonna ride like cream. And that's what we did. So we ended up going into our junior year, where by the middle of the season, after AJ played against over at Tournament of Champions, and he had that 35 on South Cobb in that tournament and 24 on Kell, we lost both games. And I started hearing the chatters then. Guys coming up, hey, man, you might need to get AJ. He gonna score all the points he wants over there, man, but he won't never win anything. This is junior year.
I remember that.
And what clicked for Chattahoochee for them to win a state championship was Cam Sheffield. Be post going into that following year, Cam only averaged about like 20 some. He averaged 20 some points. He averaged only like 7 rebounds. We won a championship. Cam started averaging about like 15 to 20 rebounds a game. And David, it just started clicking for him, man. They just said, you know what, we have nothing to lose. And AJ hung that inside of his locker, man. It's just guys just kept doubting it. And if you doubt him, he's gonna try to prove you wrong. That's just him. So we came to our senior year, man, where we was like, now it's just time to teach the young cats, man, just how to win. Everybody gone, lost all 5 seniors. So AJ's working with nothing but sophomores, had the best teaching year. He went back to the Elite 8. We only lost 4 games as a senior. A lot of people don't even talk about that. Everybody only talk about the points. And, like I said, I invited you all to come to when he broke the record, when he went over 2,000. Just all of these accolades, it just kept coming, man, kept coming. But as soon as we won that state championship, the pandemic hit. We had up to 14 offers, man. He was probably going to be the hottest thing going into that next year if a pandemic didn't hit. But it did. So now we had to readjust everything. So guys started talking about they want to go older and stay older, and the transport portal, which kind of pushed a lot of kids, man. Not only just AJ, it pushed a lot of kids. It probably set back high school basketball recruitment at least 5 years. Some of these dudes now, man, that's coming out come next year, man, they still probably won't see the flow at least till they're probably a junior. But it's most parents, man, don't understand that. Like, I started seeing him lose more. When we won this state championship, AJ was 122 pounds. He graduated, season was over with. man, expectations. He didn't want to play AAU again, so we went back to Bryce. These are the things that I had to try to force into him. And here's my teaching lessons for parents. He was tired of playing AAU because he didn't have nothing else to prove. But I wanted him to keep playing and wanted him to keep going because basketball, if all these guys is on the panel now, man, that probably have played, when you feeling down and depressed, it's something about that game, man, that lifts your own spirit, bro. Just go play. Now, when you're done playing, you may still be in that funk. But for a couple of hours, man, you can relieve yourself. And that's what we had to do by going playing with Bryce, man, and getting back familiar with everything. And we had a couple of things on the line, man, but people, man, just people, the way they try to down you when you don't share your product or mess with certain guys that's up here. I don't know them, so if I don't know them, I don't mess with them. So, I mean, it's just the kind of the way I kind of grew up, man, and just I'm one of the most humblest guys that you probably would want to meet. But it just came out wrong, man. Everything came out wrong, and it just started spreading across the coaching world about what I control, how I control, and that wasn't even the case, man. It's a lot of guys that met me. A lot of coaches met me. That was just totally opposite of what they probably heard. I don't interfere with anything, but it just kind of just, along with him being short, it kind of messed a lot of stuff up. So I sent him to Piney Woods, man. And this is how God worked, man. I had one of my best friends, man, that coached at Vanderbilt. We played ball back in the day, and he reached out to me, man, and he was on the staff at Vanderbilt with Stackhouse. He said, man, listen, I want you to tell AJ 2 things for me. Tell him that every delay is to his advantage. That was the first one. And then he told me, he said, but here's the kicker for you. Tell AJ, don't let something that's supposed to take him 13 days take him over 40 years to get to. And a lot of people if they don't read the Bible, they won't comprehend that. That journey, AJ's journey, now, he didn't let something that took him 13 days take him over 40 years to get to, because we could have held on to everything that everybody said. But we went on. And God put us in a position where we played at Piney Woods, or where it not only grew AJ up as a young man, but it grew me up as a dad. So it was like, man, just AJ just kind of he grew up overnight, man. And when David can testify to that, man, that when we came back for that last tournament, he had a different type of walk, man, a different type of Greek people. He was, you know what I'm saying? It was different about him.
Dog was back.
Yeah, he put basketball wise, we all knew what he can do, man. But everybody thought, he just quiet, don't say anything or this and that, man. But when we got back, man, he put a show on down there, man. And he came back and he was like, he went up to Chattahoochee for like 3 days. And he came home to me and my wife and he was like, listen, I got a interview down here. Not an interview, but they want to have us to come down here to North Georgia. And it was also North Florida, down where Caleb Love was at. Schumann down there. So Eastern Florida. So we end up going to North Georgia. And man, I'm gonna tell you, the growth and the happiness inside of a kid. He walked onto that campus, man, and we got with Adam, and we got with Ben Casanova, man, and we got with Coach Evans, and we walked around the campus. They showed us everything, man. But if anybody know AJ and if you want to get to know AJ, bro, you're gonna have to sit down with him. He got to feel your presence because, man, you can talk on the phone all day. He heard that. He heard guys tell him, man, I want you here, I want you this by phone, prior to 11th grade years, such this here, man. But by the time we got ready to graduate, nobody. It was like you couldn't hear from you. It was like crickets.
Mm.
So when he went down there, man, and he literally, before we got through, and we had another visit to go see Eastern Florida. Man, AJ stood up, man, inside that room, man, and AJ said, listen. And being Casanova and all them got ready to walk out. He said, hey, coach, hey, come on back in here. Come on back in here. Me and my wife is sitting there looking at each other. What the hell is going on? So he was like, listen, Coach Evans, I appreciate y'all bringing me down here, man. And to be honest with y'all, man, if y'all would love to have me, I would love to be here. The growth from Piney Woods, Chattahoochee, and when he said that, and he actually stood up in our kitchen, man, and told me and my wife, I don't give a damn what you say or you say. He was already grown. This is where I want to go. Then that's when the happiness start, man. The happiness start with him. We gotta start listening, because when they get ready to go off to college, it's college. I mean, we can't sit there and shelter them forever. So we have to sit back and listen to our kids, because it's their happiness. We already went through it. And that's the problem, is that we want to still try to control 21, 22, 23-year-old men that when they off away from home, what can we do? You're going to be chasing them forever. So by the time you look around, man, they'll be 27, 28, they're going to be still at home.
For sure.
And there's nothing you can do about it. So my transition, man, if I could tell any parent, man, with meeting with Hidden Gems, and I saw him down at the last game AJ played against, he saw the growth with AJ, man, on that panel, sitting up there talking. And just the way he interact with people, man. Bro, I can't ask for much more, man. That kid has actually exceeded everything that basketball wise and young man wise, as far as him growing up. He'll be 22 the end of this year, bro. He's exceeded everything, all my expectations. But I had to let him go.
Man, let me ask you a couple of questions, man. First is with everything, you kind of alluded to it a little bit with everything being said about you, with everything being said about AJ during that time when y'all was going through that adversity. Like, what were those conversations like at home, and how were you feeling personally, knowing that certain things were being said about you that you felt like weren't necessarily accurate?
I mean, what can you do? I mean, just being honest, what can you do? You can't control the narrative, man. But it's almost to the point, man, where if somebody says something about you, by the time it get to the sixth person, it didn't change so many different times, man. And it snowballs. But what can you do? One thing I tried to do is I tried to keep AJ focused. Even though I was a total mess on the inside, bro, I try to keep him focused, because I'm supportive, and it may come off to be some of these guys that I'm controlling, but nah, man, it's support. I mean, it's some kids, man, that wish they had their parents to go to almost every freaking game. I know when I played, man, my mom only went to 2 games.
Yep.
2 games.
Yep.
And I said to myself, if I have a son, my daughter, I was at her cheerleading events. Right now, if my daughter called me right now, I'm there. Both of them. That's just how I roll, man. I mean, it's not about basketball. It's more about family. And he chose that situation, and I think only 2 games I missed this year, man, and that was Flagler away. It was during the middle of the week, and Young Harris, which I was not trying to drive up in those mountains at nighttime. Not trying to do that. I went through there going on a vacation, and at 3:00 in the afternoon, and the smog was just sitting like, man, it was like you couldn't even see going around the curve. So I told AJ, I said, man, that's 7:30 game. I'm about to watch that one. So, but it's just about support, man, because we still in a new situation no matter what it is. So that's Dre, to answer your question, bro, there's nothing you can do about it, man. It's people talk about you. It's people say things about Dave. I mean, what can you actually do but move on? So I tried to keep AJ head as focused as possible. And now he's at a place, man, in his life where he's happy, bro. You see a kid smile like that, man. It's all worth it. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do the same thing.
You mentioned Piney Woods growing AJ up, man. Let's get into that experience a little bit. What was it about you guys going to post grad, and like AJ probably could have used his accolades to go to, you know, IMG or Hargrave or try to get into one of these bigger name post grads, but you guys went to Piney Woods with Coach Thomas Carr. You know, what went into that decision, and then what was it that was so special about Piney Woods for you guys that helped AJ so much?
Well, we were originally supposed to have been we were with Thomas the whole time, but it was up under Core 4.
Yeah.
Right? Supposed to be in there with Millsap, but Millsap mom them had came back, man. I think after the year after that Roman son them left, they was just like, man, like it was nothing beneficial for them. They wanted to take a year off from post grad. So Thomas took that job down. He's like, I got something else, but you know, you got to trust me. Now, what I loved about Piney Woods was that old country feeling. Like, bro, it's straight. It's a boarding school. Let's just keep right to it. It's a boarding school. So this is their first year as a prep boarding school. And if anybody know, like when we first moved up here to Georgia, Chattahoochee wasn't on the map, man, like that.
At all.
I mean, they had Marcus Terry, Blossom Game, them that came through there like probably 2012, 13, somewhere around there, but they had fell all the way off, right?
Yep. But
to put them on a map to where they're like that, man, we love the underdog, man. So we went down there, and the day that we got on the campus at Piney Woods, I checked my inbox on Twitter, which I never do. And lo and behold, there's Triplet at Middle Georgia Prep. So I didn't have to send him down. And I told Triplet, I was like, man, like Triplet, I told him, man, this, I've just seen your message, bro. But if anybody know anything about the way I move, is once I commit to you or say this, I'm just trying to be a man of my word, man. So
Yep.
we went into something that was uncertain there. And the uncertain, man, like the first couple of weeks AJ was there, bro, he stressed me the hell out. I was at the I'm telling you, bro, like you say you want the honest truth. I'm telling the parents the honest truth. He stressed from 2 weeks, man. AJ stressed me out, man. My mom telling me go get him. It was certain type of things that he was saying, man, like, this type of stuff, man, that it just, you just take me here, you just drop me off, and it's just so stressful, man. Like I went to the doctor, man, my blood pressure was 170 over 122, bro.
Dang.
See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he called me back later on that week and was like, listen, you already committed. I'm gonna stay. Just don't worry about me. Just get better. Cause they put me on meds and all kind of stuff. Like September 17th, August the 1st, October the 1st, the long time dog that we had for over 14 years, man, passed. Tell you how this worked.
It's tough.
So my wife is out of town, AJ's gone, and sometimes God, man, let you be by yourself before he can lift you up, bro. He let you go through a storm that you think you're going through. And man, they got back in town. I went to church that Sunday. AJ came home. They let him come home because that was actually his dog. And we bonded, man, over that period. But we sit and talk, man, and he ended up going back off the Piney Woods, bro. And from that day on, a lot of stuff changed for me personally. So when my son came back for Christmas, man, my son got me and I shared it with Drake.
Yep.
Got me a shirt, man, right from Piney Woods that had Tupac on the front of it. But it wasn't so much about the shirt. It was the letter that he wrote to me on the back.
Yep.
The letter he wrote to me on the back, man, I have never put that freaking shirt on. That shirt hangs up still with that letter hanging on the back of it. So it was
beautiful, man. I don't want to put it up, but just summarize, if you want to summarize what it says.
This is the shirt here with the letter still on the back of it. And this letter that he wrote me, he said, I bought you this shirt to let you know that you're not going, I let you know what you've been going through. I know you've been stressing since I've been gone away. He said, I got this particular shirt with this middle finger because it's if anybody that who think that you have failed me or misled me in any direction. Because you have raised one hell of an athlete and a 20-year-old. And the best dad that I could ever ask for. And I wanted to let you know that I'm beside you 1,000% over everybody. He said, I would be great because of you. Nobody else. Thank you for sending me to Piney Woods and thanks for everything. Love you. This shirt, man, shows what Piney Woods started to do to my son. Grew him up. And
Absolutely.
It humbled me, man, to the point where my relationship with my wife is better. My relationship with him is better. I just kind of let me get out the way. It's let me know that he's grown. So let me get out the way. And that's all we can do as parents, man. Once you get them out of high school, man, it's all you can do. Now you done your job. Now all you can do is let them make the same dumb mistakes or make the great mistakes that you made when you were 19 to 20 years old, and you go help correct them. Because you're going to be fixing stuff because some of our parents are still fixing stuff that we're doing right now.
100%.
Piney
100%.
Woods, man. Piney Woods changed everything about that kid, man. The relationship. Now, even when we got a chance to go back over to Central High School to watch Piney Woods come their first tournament, Dave was there. You told him who was in attendance that left way from down and training at North Georgia. AJ was sitting right there supporting that team that and that coach that helped him, and as well as Dave. Like, I mean, with Taylor, with Taylor, man, with all the rest of those guys, man, because God put things in a line for you. We wouldn't have had Cass High School. It wouldn't have been a showdown against. And we had an NBA scouting side. We had an NBA scout in there, man, that was talking bananas about AJ.
Yes.
So God lines everything up. And sometimes you just, it's not, when it's your battle to fight somebody, bro, it's really not your battle. So all the stuff that people were saying about me wasn't my battle to fight it, bro. Just let it pass over.
That's beautiful.
So
that's a beautiful thing, man. And Coach Wallace, Coach Taylor, man, if y'all got questions, Dave, if you got questions, man, y'all can pour in. But I just felt this is appropriate as we going in the live period to help people understand, like, when it comes to these kids, let's keep the main thing, bro. Like, it ain't about level. It's about helping these young men become the young men that we would love for them to be. So hearing you talk about AJ and his growth and the man that he's becoming, ultimately, like, man, ain't that what we want for our kids? It's for them to become great men.
A little competition in there. It's the bigger thing, man. Is that let me know that, you know, when God decided to, you know, you get a little older, man, and you see him come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, home for just to visit. Those type of things, man, are just priceless, bro. Like, you know, kid got his own car doing his own thing, man, and he's exceeded a lot for me, bro.
Beautiful thing, man. We talked about one of these pictures and just kind of talked about the difference it made from him being happy. Like, are we still cool to bring one of these photos up?
It's an open book, man. Everybody they see that picture has been on the internet, man, for the longest. All I did was just merge them, and that I saw the happiness in each one and saw the depression in one, bro.
Let's talk about this, man, and just, you know, what you've seen. Like, people don't understand, bro. These are our kids, and no matter how old you get, and I tell mine, like, that's my baby, no matter what. Like, it's never gonna not feel like that. Like, mine is 19, bro, and it's like, that's my baby. You know what I mean? So when you see a kid and you know your kid is not happy, to now looking at how happy he is and how much he's grown and how confident he looks, man, like, just talk to us about the difference between these two photos.
You can see it. You can see it, bro. Look, I mean, just look at the one with Piney Woods, bro. When you fighting, when you're going through some things and going through depression, bro, and you're trying to keep everything together, but, you know, it didn't take away from his game, because AJ is just one of those ones that love to play basketball. But you can look at his neck and his face and he just, you know, wasn't eating and things of that nature, man. And then
these are only a few months apart. I don't want people to think that these are years apart. These photos are only a couple of months apart.
That's that photo right there on the left side is
February.
A photo
February.
In April. Because this was up at the Big Shots. This was the last tournament that they had right after we played at the one with Dave. So this was in April. And this picture on the right-hand side was September. So we're talking about 6-month period, maybe 5-month period at the most.
And what's the weight difference you feel like in between these two?
It's probably a good 30, 35, maybe 40 pounds. AJ's now probably 160, 162, somewhere around there. I'm thinking 160 right now. But he was about 120, 125, man, when he maybe little than that. I know he was 122, man. When we won the state championship, I weighed him, and the man was 122 when we won the state. And I don't
Hey,
think that's
Dre, throw that picture back up again.
Yep, I got you. Gotta let the kids see this, man. Being happy is the most important thing, bro.
if you see that on the right hand side, man, you see confidence, you
Yes.
see swag, you see that smirk, you see the picture you take when you know that you have arrived somewhere that you really wanted to be, bro. Like he chose that. It was nothing else. He didn't let nobody else alter that decision, man. He told Thomas, he told Yusuf them that this is where I'm gonna go, bro. And hey, it is what it is, man. And he chose it, and he said, man, I'm on up to it. And that the staff at North Georgia, man, has been nothing but great to me and my family. They absolutely love AJ, and I think he finished this year, man, freshman of the year for North Georgia. The first time that North Georgia has ever, men's basketball has ever went into the tournament. So if you think about it, if the people follow the pattern of AJ, if you really want to follow the pattern of him, he came up here and won with the Stars. He won with Chattahoochee. Things that are just starting up, won with Piney Woods. And where he at now? That's just a ball player that wants to win, man. Like, he gonna do anything. He's a coachable kid, gonna do everything possible, man, to go out there and get a win.
And wasn't upset. Like coming off the bench at North Georgia, scored almost 500 points coming off the bench. That is, man, you talking about guys that like it's kids. We talk to kids all the time that don't want to accept a Division II offer, let alone coming off the bench at a Division II school. And here we got a kid that's probably better than any of these guys. More accolades, more points, more wins, and came in, accepted his role, loved where he's at, and still outperformed any expectation. You don't get 500 points off from your six man or from any guy off the bench. You don't get 500 points in a season.
Yeah. He ended up with 417 for the year, man, and it was just I think he averaged like 14 points a game off the bench for us, for Dan Evans and the Nighthawks. But I mean,
Coach, I love that you say us, man. I love that y'all locked in that way. I love that you say us. I mean,
once we locked in with you, man, we locked in with you, bro. Like, I call you. I mean, like, I call Bryce. I mean, guys that know me, once you get to know me, I'm super cool, bro, and I'm very supportive towards any kid, bro. Like, they're kids.
Yep.
So look how much knowledge, man. These guys were only. I sent Bryce some stuff, man. That when I play ball, if these guys were only, they look at me like I'm a parent, just a parent, never played ball. Man, some of the guys that I played with, man, we talking about, and my man from Arkansas, say love Arkansas, man, you talking about Todd Day, you talking about the late Ron Heary, all about, yeah, we go way back, man.
Those is Memphis guys, though, right?
Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Aren't those Memphis guys?
Yeah, I played with and against Tony Madlock, the coach that said Alabama State now.
Yep.
Fred Summers, the coaches there, Edward Waters down in Florida. So yeah, man, it look at me like yeah. It was that. I give AJ some hit.
Right.
So
Right.
they look at it like that, bro. But I just sit back, man, and I say we, because once we locked in with you as a good friend, I'm here for you, bro. No matter what it is.
Man, we I'm gonna save that. I'll just say this. I love how locked in you guys are at North Georgia, because what's developing amongst college coaches is that they feel like high school kids can't be trusted. That if you take them and they do well, they're gonna leave. If they don't do well, they're gonna leave. So to see you guys locked in with that staff and accomplishing everything, because you guys were ranked this year going into the tournament, right?
Yeah, I think they were ranked number 18. As the highest has been 16. They were ranked number 18 going into the tournament. Well, the last week, man, because they actually had the opportunity to win the whole entire thing. And we played against Augusta and lost 1 point at home against Augusta. And we went down, man, and we ended up playing against Ride Out. Shout out to Big Ride Out, man. And Lil Ride Out that's over there, man. A lot of dudes don't understand that he has a story also, bro. Yep. His story ain't that far away from ours. It's a lot of us that's in that boat, man, that end up going. He helped change the culture of US down to UC Aiken. Because that's the farthest that UC Aiken has ever been.
Got to Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, bro. And won the Peach Belt conference. So, and that's another kid that chose to go to Division II, bro. And it's a lot of parents overlooking the Peach Belt conference. The Peach Belt conference is probably, if not the second, maybe the third toughest conference in the United States.
You talking D2 wise?
Yeah, D2.
Yeah. Yeah, they're top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3 conferences, yes.
I want to show something, right? Because you talked about AJ being a winner and having an impact. I want to show people something. North Georgia is a school that we've always supported. You know, Dave and I have taken kids there to watch games because most kids don't understand that D1, D2 classification doesn't mean as much as they think. So when they walk in that arena at North Georgia and their eyes get big and their mouth drops, and I'm like, yeah, we've taken you to these D1 schools that don't look like this. Yeah. A lot of kids think that, you know, D1 means that, you know, that the facilities are better or the team is better. And we always say, hey, man, it's a lot of D2s that will beat D1s. And they never believe it until we take them on campus. And everybody just has this perception of how things are. But anyway, I'm going to go back to something else. I just want to share this on the screen real quick, because when we talk about impact, and I had to text Coach Evans today after our conversation and just tell him how much I appreciate him for y'all, because you guys are another program in the state of Georgia winning with Georgia kids. And that is just vital right here. So I just want to quickly show the record. 21-8 overall, 13-4 in the conference. You mentioned, you know, being ranked for the first time ever, going to the tournament, like a lot of accolades for this team as AJ joined the team. But this is with AJ winning 72% of their games, right? And of course, y'all had other players, man, that Georgia players, you know, Frank Champion, Caden Charles. Y'all had a lot of guys from Georgia on that team that helped propel this team to where it is today. But I just want to show people when you get the right kind of kids, like, look at this. I'm just going to go 1 year back. 1 year back, 14-14. That's a 7-game, you know, plus difference. 7-11 in the conference. When you get a kid like AJ White on your team. Now, I believe this was COVID year. Yeah, so only 2-8. This was COVID year, but I'll go back another year, 2019, 2020, 14-15, 2018, 2019, 11-17. So you're talking about a team that's roughly playing 500 basketball to a team that is now winning 72 or 73% of their games. So big, man. That's a big.
The sky's the limit. It's not about AJ. I think this is the first year, man, that Coach Evans said he actually had an opportunity to. The way that they bonded, because AJ left off, I think August the 15th, 16th to go to school, man. The way that they bonded, the boot camp, the movie, the I mean, the coaches are all right there, man, like with them, bro. It's about bonding, bro. It's about team bonding. It starts with team unity first, and every guy believing in what their ability to be and what they can bring to the table. And I mean, Frank, man, he's D2 first team All-American, bro. What can you say? That kid played with Eric Gaines over there at Lithonia, man. That what can you say, bro? You got Sutton Smith that's also there, the starting point guard that's there. You have AJ, you have Caden, you have, like you said, Georgia kids, man, and that's hungry.
100%.
And they just bought it. They bought into Coach Evan has a philosophy, man, and they just bought into it, bro, and they're winning with it. So now it's just the sky's the limit because they don't have, you know, you have Eric. I can't think of Eric's last name that played. He was injured last year, so that whole entire team is back for the next 2 years, maybe 3. That's scary.
When you add AJ and Frank Champion together, bro. Whew. Hey, man, you know, I was sitting there live and direct when I seen that, man. You know, I talked to you right before I went to the press conference, man.
Yep.
And, man, I want to speak on that as well. One of the biggest things that you can be just as proud of, and I wasn't expecting this either. When it was time for the press conference, he brought in Frank Champion and AJ to answer questions, man. There's no bigger testament to that right there. And, you know, because I just went through my phone real quick, because remember you texted me like, man, they cut it off. The Peachbell Network cut it off. And I just looked again, and they did. And I hate that you didn't get a chance to see the questions that I asked AJ. And, man, to your point, I was thinking to myself, man, he's come. You know, of course, I wasn't going to say anything about that during the press conference, but I was thinking to myself, man, this dude has came a long way. A long way. You know what I'm saying? To the point where an uncertain future to where he's sitting up here post-game getting questions asked to the media about him as a freshman. As a freshman, man. And you know, I know that was the dad part of you, like, Dave, the link cut off. And I was like, oh, man. I said, that's the Peachbell Network there, my bad. But, man,
They got me, but it was just the point of him seeing himself up there, how
Yeah, man.
confident he was.
Yes. Yes.
Like it's nothing like that, man. It's nothing like that because that's those kids, man. Those kids work their tail off, man. Frank, AJ, not only just those two, man, but you have Giancarlo that took us past that first round.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
yeah, he really put a show on against UNC Pembroke, man. So
Hmm.
yeah, you got Hunter, man. That's that Hunter and I mean just the whole entire guys, man. Case, you got these that is a team, and we bonded not only with the coaches but the family,
As a
the
unit.
family of those
Yeah, as a
kids
unit. You could see it,
is
man.
the
See
way
it.
that they move, man, is just totally different, bro. It's couldn't ask for a better situation than what he where he went to, bro. And I mean, just the sky's the limit, man.
And you know, man, I want to talk about what we talked about right then and there in Augusta, man. What was the first one? The first things I told you know when you came up right before we I walked in, I said, man, I said, looking at this, what did I tell you? I said, you know, I said your phone gonna be ringing at the end of the season, man. Didn't we say? Didn't I talk about that? And
Yeah.
I want you to tell everybody what you told me.
I mean, they was there. Like AJ is one of the ones, man, that it's that kind of like that Michael Jordan effect, man, where you don't have to make up anything to kind of push yourself, but he remembered the guys that are trying to call now. Those was the same guys that were there originally.
Mhm.
So that's a check. That's a negative mark. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Dan and Adam and Ben, man, has accomplished with AJ, bro. Like it's some things, man, in this game that we're in now, right now, and this is what me and Mondre talked about earlier. When you can find something that's loyal to you, you should be loyal
Go.
to it.
There you
Mhm.
go.
And the problem is, man, like we could have committed in the 11th grade, man, but that coach so far now, man, has probably is going to two schools now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
yeah, and it's just it's you seeing so many people jumping around, bro, and so many. It's like you got guys, man, that offer you, that want to offer you, and then you as parents, we want something best for these kids, and then we send them there, and then the person that we send them there with is now he's halfway across the country. That's and now your child is somewhere that he don't want to be because when a new coach come in, it's a double reset button.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? So now it's like it's just the way that Coach Evans, man, and that staff, uh, you know, told AJ. It's like, yeah, uh, and they was honest with us. Like, yeah, you're gonna play, but you're gonna earn it. And AJ, when he said that he wanted to go there, he was still probably right in his 130s. But when he came back, it was something that I seen that was being earned. They say he couldn't defend. They say he couldn't this. He wasn't big enough. He this and that. And that staff, man, that weightlifting staff, that just the unity and just how happy he is, bro. Like you can't you can't get that, bro. Like most of these kids, man, I see a lot of kids that are very unhappy, bro.
Facts.
You can tell by looking at that transport portal.
Got a chance to hit 4,000 this year.
And a lot of it is gonna go down, man. A lot of it, they see the NCAA tournament, man. You see why the NCAA tournament is the way it was. Because you got guys that was on high major teams, bro, that went somewhere that end up going back down to mid majors, and some of them
Yep.
are gonna go down to uh Division 2. Some of them gonna go down to JUCO. Some of them just gonna quit, bro.
Yep.
And that's what we're seeing now. I'm so glad you said that. What threw me off, and Dre can attest to this, there are kids that are walking in mid-season saying they're done
Yeah.
because of being unhappy. And, you know, in the time we grew up, I can't even register that because, you know, that's just weren't, you know, we weren't that, but man, it's a different ball game out here for a lot of these kids. And if you, it lets me know that you weren't happy probably in high school as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's you among the den of thieves, man. Like you just right now, it's like it's when you can find loyalty, man. Just you gotta stick with it. You gotta just go. And sometimes, man, you can build your own loyalty. All you gotta do is just go in there with being humble and just putting your work ethic forward, man. And once somebody start believing in you, there's your trust there. But
And
most of these kids don't want to go into something to where they think that Division 2 or Division 3. But if they go back and they do their history, you want to do your history. See, that's the problem with kids today, bro. That they don't go and look at history. I teach AJ history. A lot of dudes don't understand. You want to talk about my favorite NBA players, man, this and that. A handful of them came out of Division 1. Most of them weren't even ranked in high school. Back when I came up, a lot of guys don't know Joe Dumas. Joe Dumas is from where?
McNeese State.
Hey, down in them backwoods, man. Like they had to go find somebody. Would you thought about McNeese State back in the day? No, you UNLV, you were uh, Louisville with Never Nervous Purvis. You had all these good cat, man. University of Memphis. You want to go back in the backwood to McNeese State, bro, and found Joe Dumas.
Yep.
They're gonna
Hey man,
find you.
side note, don't mention Louisville on the show, please. Don't mention Louisville.
Hey.
Hey, so Dave, I want to go back to something you mentioned about kids transferring.
Mhm.
I think one thing we got to realize a lot of times when kids get to college, this is going to be their first time not being the best player on the floor, not being
Yeah.
the best player on the team.
It's a great point.
Possibly their first time not starting. So that adversity it hits different. You know, you got to be able to handle that mentally. You know, how are you coming to practice that next day when you played 10 minutes last night? You know what I mean? When you're used to being out there for the whole time. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a testament to AJ being able to say, you know what, I'm not starting, but when my number gets called, I'm going to give them a reason to keep me in the game. So I'm playing starter minutes, whether I'm starting or not.
Because we were prepped for that. A lot of people don't know, man. Everything that AJ did, Peace Jam, for the Georgia Stars, he started at Chattahoochee, but everything that he did AAU, he came off the bench for the Georgia Stars for 2 years in a row. We never started. He averaged like 20 something off their bench, bro.
Right.
So we used to just it's when you're a part of a team, your numbers, everybody has, you know, they had Big Frankie, man. Frankie can rebound and block shots, man. You had guys that everybody has a role. When you get to college,
Right.
you have a role. Some guys have it's things that AJ can't do that another guard can do. And AJ understands that. But he gonna work at what he can't do. And I mean, it's coming off the bench, man. It's not about starting. You know, most kids want that on their resume. But if you can play 27, 28 minutes
Yep.
in a game.
Yeah, that's starters minutes.
Dude, that's starter
Yo.
minutes. Like,
help
you
your
know,
team
him
win.
Sutton, between him and Sutton, man, they balanced that, man. That, you know, Dan kind of made that to where they balanced that out, man. The way you look around, man, and AJ got 28 minutes and Sutton has 28 minutes. It's like, damn. It's like, yeah. He made everybody feel like it still was a team inside of there, no matter what it was. No egos, no none of that, man. So I just my hats off today, damn, man, and to that staff, bro.
Yeah, well, Mr. Wright, one of the things you spoke on was just the happiness piece. And I think, and I hope, you know, for the parents that are listening to this podcast, they understand one thing, and it's kind of hard to understand, is to have a separation of happiness. And when I say a separation of happiness is, I know what makes me happy as a parent, but I got to understand what makes, like you said, your son happy. And if I can
There you go.
separate those happiness, those two happies, at the end of the day, like yourself, you end up happy anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, I hope parents listening to this can kind of gain that. Like I was telling Dre and David earlier, you know, I do a lot of stuff in the background, and you know, I had a kid and some folks putting together, you know, list of schools and you know stuff they want us to peek out to. And I mean, one of the responses back from the parents today was like, you know, they gave me these D1 lists, D2 lists, D3 lists. They said we refuse to pick anything on the NAI list, and I was like, okay, you know,
But they
so
Right.
don't understand it though, bro. They don't.
yep,
If you can go to one of these schools that want you, that's the key
yep,
thing. That
Yeah.
want you
That's
to
the bottom line. Yep.
go. And
yep,
it may not be where he want to be, but if he goes and do what he needs to do, and one thing about it is just numbers just don't lie.
yep,
True story.
So just go, have fun, grow, and as a kid, man, you're gonna see. As a parent, you're gonna see something, and you just have to just. He's getting an education.
yep,
That's one. He's getting a free education, but we are so much of this millennium that just 1980 and 1990 parents that we were in the sports also. So I'll be sitting in line if I didn't tell you that, man. A lot of my like, dude, I took on a persona to now that still kind of sticks, bro. Like I was making moves for AJ that AJ didn't want me to make moves for him because I was still, by me having that son and that play ball and I can relate to, I kind of took on that persona of being AJ. And I had the Piney Woods made me step back and say, bro, your dad, that's AJ.
mm-hmm,
That's what that did for me. Like we gotta stop living. We you still can live through your child, man. But if sports ain't what he's good at afterwards, it's some good high school players, it's some good college players, it's some good pro players. Some guys don't reach their peak until they reach the pros. You still have to allow that kid to grow. And do I still do certain things now? Yeah, man, I miss my son. It's my guy. It's last one inside the house. But I give him his space. And I allow him, you let him go, bro. Once you raise him and you let him go and you know you done did your job and you got God inside of him, things that you worry about the most of, he gonna take care of that for you anyway.
yep,
So we just gotta just let these kids just go, man. They 18, 19. You gotta just let them go and have fun, man. Let them enjoy college life, whether it's on an NAIA program or Division 3. I mean, we got two that Chattahoochee that went to um, Division 3 schools that
Yep.
was champions.
And to piggyback on what you said too, Dre, is like I don't think people understand the environments of some of these campuses too.
Yeah,
Like you
they
look at
don't.
North Georgia, you look at Young Harris. I mean, even True McConnell. You walk into their arena, you like, whoa, like okay. I mean, like it's a difference. I mean, we done all been on D1 campuses that we like, okay, like what's going on here?
Hey, listen, I try, man. I try to tell these kids as much as possible. It's like I be telling them, hey, man, at the Division 3 level, there are some Division 3 schools that are chartering flights. There are some Division 1 schools that if the bus break down, you're gonna have to get out and help change the tire. Like that level don't necessarily mean how much money a school got or how big their facilities are. Like it doesn't mean that, man. Like kids got to understand. But guys, I want to. Does anybody have any other questions for Big AJ before we close? We got one more topic that I want to try to get to real quick. That's really important. We are going to have some Kennesaw State information and a quick discussion about how the staff is going to break out. So I want to make sure we have time to get to that.
I just appreciate it, Mr. White. I mean, I was in the gym seeing him playing with the stars and seeing him coming off the bench and going off and like he going off too much and they pulling him out the game and I'm like, what the hell going on with them putting but hey, hearing the story in the background, I see, man. So kudos to you and your family, man. Y'all keep pushing.
Appreciate you, Coach.
100%, man. Hey, and shout out to AJ White, man. Kid, we love you. We support you. We always gonna be here. One of my favorite players coming out of Georgia. We claimed you. It ain't no more Memphis, no more like we claimed you as ours, big dog. You're a Georgia boy now. We done wrapped our arms around you and claimed you. So, man, we support you too, AJ. If you watching, man, love you, bro. So happy to see what you're doing. So happy to see what you're doing. Keep going.
Hey man, shout out to you too, Big AJ, man.
For sure.
What people don't understand, man, you one of those dads that people should be happy to see as a model to being a dad, man. Whether they called you overbearing, man, at the end of the day, you were supportive of your son, man. And can nobody take that from you, man. Man, I know if I'm at a game, it's a North Georgia game, I know you somewhere close. You know what I'm saying? I know, and that's the expectation. You know what I mean?
You're gonna hear my wife's voice before you hear my Let's go, AJ. That's all you gonna hear. That's how you know I'm in the building.
And I gotta say what's up, because when we went to came and see AJ break the scoring record, man, had the snack bags, man, laid it out for us, man. You guys always been first class, man. Always been first class, 100%. So, yep.
Appreciate you, fellas, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate y'all, bro. From the heart, man. Dave, you already know how I feel, bro. Appreciate you, my man.
Man, it's all love, man. I mean, that's just something right there. And again, like I said, man, that it had to be spoken. Like everybody had a part in this. Coach Taylor, and it was funny, like he didn't know, who was playing, but after that game, he was like, man, he can go. I was like, yeah, man, he the truth.
For sure, for sure.
No doubt, man. So, hey, brother, we'll talk soon, man.
And your boy called me. I mean, sent a message through IG. That's just how the relationships go, man. Most space end up. Message and said, listen, I was down here over the Christmas holidays, man, and saw AJ play down here in Florida when they went to Florida. He was like, that kid, bro. That's all he can say. He said, man, once he find that motor, it's over with for everybody, bro. I was like, appreciate it, Big Mo.
He mentioned it about a month ago, man. When I saw Mo in Rock Hill, he mentioned AJ again, man. He ain't forgot about that. Trust me.
No, he sent 3 or 4 with him, man. Drake was sitting up there like,
damn, this kid getting triple team, beat up. I don't think it was 120 pounds. It didn't matter, man. It just skill set, bro. What we teach.
Best one dribble pull up in basketball. Hey man.
Appreciate it.
But we're gonna talk to you soon, big dog, man. I appreciate you. Love you guys, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Love y'all too, man. Y'all take care, bro.
All right, man. Be safe, man.
All right, Big AJ. Have a good
All right.
one.
Y'all too, man. Best.
All right, we got one more to go. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about some Kennesaw State. And Coach Petway putting together this staff. But before we do, man, I gotta do it right. I gotta do it right for the Kennesaw State faithful. Y'all know how we get down. Here we go. Hey, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what that means. We're talking Kennesaw State basketball. The question that I've heard the most is, what are they going to do? How's Coach Petway going to build out his staff? So, man, we got Coach Taylor here, former assistant at the Division I level, to help us kind of explain and understand how a college staff gets assembled. When I tell you it's a high level of difficulty when a new staff gets put together and everything that goes into offensive terminology, defensive terminology, what drills are we going to run? What are we doing last 2 minutes, last 3 minutes, situations, things like that. Coach Taylor's going to give us some insight on how that all could shake out for Kennesaw State, coming from somebody who's actually been through it. So, Coach, I'm going to get out the way, man, and just help us kind of understand, a new staff that maybe guys that have never worked together before, how vital each of those roles are, positions on the staff.
So a staff completion, a staff putting together is actually just as important as the recruits that you get. Because, most people think it's one team. There's actually two teams. It's the coaching staff and then the players. I think you mentioned earlier chemistry. So, when the chemistry is right with the coaching staff, as far as, guys accepting their role, guys working together, collaborating, I think the players see that and they feel that, and those things can be contagious. So, one thing that people have to understand as a Division I head coach, your plate is full. Obviously you got the whole team you're responsible for. You got the coaching staff. So not only are you coaching your players, you have to coach your staff because, if you're a new head coach, just like you mentioned, you got to teach the assistant coaches, your offense, your defense, things that you want to run. And whether you're giving those guys responsibilities, you still, you're going to steer them in the right direction of how you want to play, whether that's pressing, getting up and down, whether that's more of a half court team, whatever a head coach is comfortable with, they have to teach those assistants what they like, what they don't like. And then that's going to steer, how you recruit and the type of players you look for, whether, you're going to look for long athletic dudes or you're going to look for guys that are more, stationary shooters, depending on the type of offense. But kind of back to the staff, at Division I level, there's 3 assistants, and those guys are essential, vital for that program. And here's why, because those guys are going to be the front lines of recruiting. Once you become a head coach, and Coach Petway will understand this, his plate is going to be full with all the media stuff he has to do, all the meetings on campus with administration, with the marketing team. He's going to have so many other different things to do that's going to take him away from coaching. His title is going to be head coach, but coaching is probably going to be 20% of his job. I mean, there's so many other things that you have to do that's going to take you away from recruiting. It's going to take you away from planning and preparing for practices and things like that. That's why it's important that you have a good staff and they know what you want as a head coach. They know exactly what you want on your team, on that roster. So as they're going out, they're beating the streets and recruiting, you guys are having constant communication on the type of players that you want, whether that's, hey, I want a 6'3" point guard, or I'm good with a 5'10" point guard. Those are 2 big differences. If your head coach loves small, quick, fast point guards, but all you're bringing in is 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guys, and that's all you're talking about, then you guys aren't going to be on the same page. So it's very, very important and vital that, you get the right assistants. And that doesn't necessarily mean guys from high majors or guys from D2 or even, local guys. It's guys that have relationships. And for me, I've always felt like the relationships with high school, AAU, junior college, those things are important. It does you no good if you get a quote unquote Georgia guy if he don't have relationships with, a number of people. It's all about relationships and who can you call, who can you get up to campus to see Kennesaw State, because that's a beautiful place, man, to be honest with you. If you have never been to Kennesaw State's campus, it's a beautiful place. But when you are forming a coaching staff, especially as a new head coach, you got to have some guys that know what they're doing, because like I said, you're going to be coaching your coaches, but you don't want to be coaching guys that don't have a lot of experience in doing that job, especially when you're a new head coach. Now, if you're a seasoned head coach and you're maybe changing jobs, you can maybe add a guy that, you might be bumping up, or, maybe was a video guy somewhere else that has never done that job before. But it's a really, really hard job. And like I said, you got to be in constant communication with that head coach, with your other assistants, as far as when you're going out, when you guys are looking at guys and just making sure you're all working together. And the other part of the piece that's very important is support role guys. And how many do you have on your staff? Director operations, video coordinators, how many GAs do you have? All those guys go into account, and they really help you off the floor as far as planning for, trips, away games, things like that, getting your itinerary right, what time you're eating, what time you're practicing, what time you have shoot around. And, a lot of times as a head coach, especially a new coach, you may not think about those things, but those things, can be the factors that can help you win or lose games. If your timing is off, if, you're not giving you guys a lot of time to rest in between, if you're not leaving early enough on a bus trip, on a flight, whatever those things are, you don't want to get stuck and you miss a flight here, or, you don't do your due diligence with the bus driver and your bus driver's late picking you up from an airport. I mean, those things are all very important as a support role guy. You may not think about that, and nobody's going to say, man, we lost that game on the road just because, our bus driver wasn't there. You never know what can have your players, all mentally out of whack. So if all those things can be all lined up, and work for your good to win games, that can really, really help you. So I would say, first off, that's your most important signings is your coaching staff, because that's going to lead to future signings of whatever student athletes you go after.
Man, you touched on something that's super important when you talked about, hey, what time does the bus driver pick us up? What time are we eating? What time is shoot around? People don't understand these players are creatures of habit.
No
And
doubt.
any little thing could break their routine. It does actually affect their play.
No
Like,
doubt.
we deal with kids all the time on the AAU level that's like, oh, we got an 8 o'clock game. That means I didn't get a chance to eat breakfast. I slept until the last minute. And then that kid goes out there and he's sluggish and doesn't necessarily play well,
Right.
the game is too late and he didn't take a nap at the right time because you're not used to playing, that last game of the night during AAU. Players can be really fickle, man. So like that stuff really matters. How much have you seen as a new staff sometime when you're coming behind another staff that you trying to implement your routine kind of takes players some time to get adjusted to as well?
Oh, absolutely. When I was at James Madison, I mean, we came in and there was a group of 8 seniors. I mean, they were just used to, since their freshman year, hey, we've done it this way. And I'll give you a small example. On the road, all they did was go out to restaurants, and that was their comfort zone. They kind of got into their hotel room, was able to kind of kick it together after a practice or after a film session. And when we got there, our thing was we wanted to give guys as much time to rest and relax. So we ate more meals at the hotel. And at first, they kind of balked at it. They didn't like it because, they like to get out and kind of, see the city wherever they were and kind of, be amongst their teammates. But we felt like, you know what, we could get more rest, get guys off their feet. If, you come downstairs into a meeting room and you eat for 15, 20 minutes, you watch video for, 20, 30 minutes. So now you back up in your room instead of going out of the hotel, you fighting traffic, you're trying to find a parking spot, all those type of things. So just like you said, I mean, those guys are creatures of habit, but you get used to it. You kind of get used to it.
For sure. Um, how do head coaches normally handle when it comes to roles? Um, how do those coaches typically identify maybe this guy's a good coach, but I have him in the wrong role and I need to move this guy here and move this guy over here to do this other thing? How does that play out? Can it be a lot of tension at times, or how does that
So
normally
so
play?
so I would say 2 things. When as a head coach, when you're hiring guys, it's best to know a guy and or either know somebody that knows him, so that guy can say, hey, here's this guy's 2 or 3 strengths, and make sure you're using those things. Or if you're hiring a guy that just has a great resume that you may not know, it may just take you guys 2 or 3 months to be around each other and kind of say, hey, this guy's really good at defense and scouting. And, this guy's maybe good at these 1 or 2 things. And I've seen that kind of happen on staffs too, where, it just kind of develops. A head coach is kind of around his staff and he kind of realizes, hey, this guy's really good at individual development. This guy's really good when we go into our team defensive stuff. And, they kind of let those assistants take those leads and kind of take those roles on. And other times, head coach is just like, hey, you're going to be our recruiting guy. You're going to be our workout guy. And you kind of get stuck in a role sometimes. And, I've seen guys get stuck in a role that, they may not be able to grow on that staff. Maybe sometimes they have to leave and go to a different staff to, kind of grow into a different role. So every head coach is different. There's plenty of ways to do different things. There's plenty of ways to win. There's not just one way of doing things. Obviously, you got, different personalities on the staff, but role acceptance is vital for success. And that's with your coaching staff. That's with your players. You got to accept whatever role that is the head coach has laid out for you. And then, if you don't like that role, you got to be able to have a relationship with your head coach and, be able to communicate why you don't like that role, and things that you can do outside of whatever role and responsibilities that he's laid down for you.
I mentioned this before on the show, and I would love to ask your thoughts. Do you think Petway tries to hire somebody with former that has some head coaching experience? How much does that even matter for a coach of having that head coaching experience before you step into a role? Do you think?
Wow, I think that matters a lot, especially for a guy that's never been a head coach. Sometimes, when you hire a guy that's been a head coach, it's really hard to not think like a head coach. They may be able to say, "Hey, look out for this. Hey, look out for that," and it could be something as small as what you say post game in a press conference. When you're assistant coach, you know, you kind of have a mindset of I'm doing this scout, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But when you're the head coach, I mean, you want to be pointed with your words, you want to be honest with the media, but you can't give them everything. You can't give them everything. So
For
a
sure.
lot of times it's hard to really change that mindset when you move over one seat. And it's a trial and error thing. It's you just got to get that experience and just learn.
Man, what's the hardest thing for a coaching staff to deal with? Is it winning or losing? I could see both kind of having their own sets of difficulties.
I would say winning, because losing is, and you'll follow me on this, losing is hard, but
Mhm.
it's easy to do, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, you can just roll the balls out there, not do a scout, not be, focused in practice, not hold guys accountable,
Yep.
and you're going to lose. But being consistent to, hey, here's what we do in our individual workouts. Here's how hard we're paying attention when we're having a scout meeting, when we're watching video. Here's how I'm going to hold you accountable in practice and in games. That's hard to do because, as a coach, it's taxing, and as a player, it's taxing just to hold yourself accountable at that level every day. It's hard to be good. I'm gonna say that. It's hard to be good. I mean, not every team makes the NCAA tournament.
I look at this job that Petway is walking into. He's coaching in a league that he may not be familiar with, probably isn't familiar with, the ASUN. And then he has an extra layer of difficulty because the following season you go to Conference USA. So you have back-to-back seasons of coaching in a new league. Is that going to be like hitting the reset button for him? That it's like, okay, by the time I really get my bearings in the ASUN, boom, we're going to Conference USA. Or what can the staff do to help prepare him, or what he can do to help prepare the staff and help prepare the team for those adjustments?
That's a great point, but I think anytime you're in that first year, no matter what conference or league you're in, I mean, you got to lay the law down. I mean, what is our program going to stand for? What is our culture? What are going to be our standards? And it doesn't matter if you're in the ACC or the ASUN. I mean, you got to have that stuff laid down. And, it's going to take guys a while to get used to him and for him to build those relationships with, players that are still there, guys that he bring in, all those things have to mesh well together. And to me, it doesn't matter about the league. It's more about how they're going to hold their guys accountable, and how is he going to hold his coaching staff accountable to hold those guys to that standard every day.
Hey man, I gotta go ahead and ask you, do you have any thoughts about how the staff may play out? Everybody has their guesses about who he may bring in and who they heard he may bring in, or what skill sets may be more valuable to him than others. Do you have any thoughts on that? It's okay if you don't, but just I gotta ask it what you're hearing on the streets.
I really don't have any thoughts, but I can tell you this. Anytime somebody takes a head job, whether that's in high school or college at any level, you better at least already have 2 guys coming with you, because there is a ton of stuff to do. You don't have time to interview 25 guys for 1 spot or 2 spots. Like, he's got to go start talking to players that are trying to come back, because these dudes are trying to figure out what's up with him and figure out if they're gonna get in the portal or figure out if they're gonna stay. So he don't have time to interview 25 dudes. I know everybody in the country is trying to call him right now. He ain't picking up the phone unless he knows you. So, if after you saw Jeff Goodman's tweet, you trying to hit him up after that's probably not a good move.
He's got a lot of new best friends, doesn't he?
Oh man, he's got people that he don't even have their number saved that's hitting him up. So, I mean, I'm sure he's on his other phone. I mean, I would be if I was him. Be on your other phone trying to handle business and talk to your guy, and just let that other one just ring off the hook.
When what is it like as a coach? And we'll wrap this up. I know it's getting late, but as a coach, freshly hired, you're walking in there at that first live period. Just explain the level of difficulty of how to evaluate so many kids in such a short period of time. Like, how do you quickly do that? How do you find the kids that, hey man, I don't need to keep looking at this kid, I need to move on? Or how do you decide that, I need to keep watching this guy?
So that's funny, because to me that's not difficult at all. And I think that goes back to what you talked about, your skill set, your strength. I mean, if that's one of your strengths, to literally sit in a gym from 7:30 a.m. until 9 p.m. and just sit there and evaluate, that's really hard to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it is. That's a long time to be in a gym.
It's a long day, and those are some hard seats. It ain't that comfortable. It's not that comfortable.
And to be honest with you, it's not very good basketball either.
No, not for most teams.
So I would go back to, it's more important that you know what your boss likes, because as an assistant, I can like a dude as much as I want. But if my head coach sees him and he's a 6'5" slow point guard and he wants a 5'10" really fast dude, then we're not on the same page. So, you have to know what your head coach wants, what he likes, and that's going to help you in recruiting, so you're not wasting time. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do as an assistant coach, is waste time, is to sit in the wrong gym, be at the wrong court, be trying to recruit the wrong kid. That's wasting of time. Like, let's say if somebody's on Kennesaw State staff and they're trying to recruit a kid that's down to Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina, I mean, they're wasting their time. That's ridiculous. You're at the wrong court. Like, if you look to your left and you see an ACC school, look to your right, see SEC, you might want to get up and go somewhere else.
For sure. I love that. Man. Is as somebody that can recruit, how much of your list of what kids that you're going to watch is predetermined before you walk in, versus how much of it is feel and eyeball test and experience of, like, this may look interesting. Let me check this out. How much time do you spend trying to figure that out about a kid that, maybe you didn't come in planning to watch?
Okay, so that's a great question, but let me take you back. This is the first thing I look at, and this goes into warmups. And it's not about a shot made. It's not about a dribble. I look at size and stature. And this isn't about how tall or how short somebody is. So if they're standing up, right, and I call this the elbow and wrist test. If they're standing up and their arms are at their waist, okay, if their wrist is at their waist, they got short alligator arms. That's not very helpful. You're not going to be able to get a lot of deflections, a lot of rebounds out of your area. That's pretty tough. I've only coached one kid that had short arms that was just an absolute dude. I like the dudes personally where their elbows come down to their waist. Now, when your arms are that long, you can get deflections. You can get rebounds out of the area. You can really finish through contact. So before I even see them shoot a basketball, that's the first thing I look at. And that doesn't matter if you're 5'5", 6'5", or you're 7 feet. Like, you can look at that on a guy's body and you can say, oh man, he's got long arms. So you can be 5'10", but if you got a 6'5" wingspan, then you're actually bigger than you can play bigger than you are. So like, I look at that a lot. That was the first thing I try to look at. And a lot of times, depending on, your head coach, those things might be important. They may not be, but you can kind of get a feel for, okay, this dude has long arms. I can teach him how to guard. This dude has long arms. I may be able to teach him how to rebound out of his area, if they're not doing those things already. So to me, that's the number one thing I looked at. And I want to just keep going back to, you have to know what your head coach wants. If you know what your head coach wants, then you can proceed in recruiting. Hey, if your head coach wants an undersized scoring guard at the 2, then that's what you need to go recruit. So that's the most important thing, knowing what your head coach wants.
I love it, man. I love it. Dave, you got any questions about that?
I got a question for you, man. How much does it play into your scouting live of sometimes your connections saying, hey, there's a kid that's going to be at this event? Do you automatically just put them on your notebook to watch, or do you watch film of that person before you even say, I'm going to check this kid out?
I think sometimes when you watch film, I mean, you could get jaded a little bit and almost have an opinion before you see a kid.
And
And
that's why, and that's exactly why I wanted your opinion on this.
To me, I think, you can always go watch a half of a kid and get a feel. It costs you nothing to go watch a half, but if you're intrigued, obviously you stay for the second half, or, you go back and watch them later on that day or the next day. I think it can never hurt to go watch a half of a kid, and you'll get a feel for what type of player he is and position, and how you can see him in your offense, your defense, whatever. But I love when I get calls when guys are like, especially when it's somebody that you know and you trust. Hey man, hey, you might want to get to court 3 at 10 o'clock and check out this wing. And especially when it's people that you trust and people that know, people that know you, because they won't give you no fluff. They won't just try to sell you on, hey man, I got this 5'10" dude that that's a 5-man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, Coach, I appreciate the insight, man, from somebody that actually been out here doing it and had to do that, the elbow to wrist thing. Like, I gotta watch out for that.
Look, you're gonna have me in the mirror like this. Like, was I playing with that?
Right.
No doubt.
You gotta be able to cut your list, and you gotta be able to cut it quickly. That's a pretty impressive way to do it.
I would have never thought. Look. That's why I said he's gonna have me think of, boy, maybe I got passed over, or maybe they looked at me because of that. I would have never ever paid that any mind ever.
Hey, I know I got alligator arms, bro. I already know it. And I can't jump. I already know what time it was with me. But man, Coach, I appreciate you sharing some knowledge with us, man. And as I know you're in the gym so much all the time. I want to close with this one last question. You've been on campus at Kennesaw State. You coach at the college level. You also coach at the high school level, and you got some dudes over there where you at. What is one thing that Kennesaw as a school, Kennesaw State, can change or can improve to help possibly recruit higher level kids?
I think they've already done it, to be honest with you. Moving up in leagues. I mean, obviously Conference USA is not the ACC or SEC, but it shows there's a commitment to getting better. There's a commitment to athletics there. So, I mean, moving up in leagues, I mean, you're going to have to play. I mean, there's no hiding. There's no hiding when you get to Conference USA. I can tell you that. I mean, you can just look. They had a team in the Final Four. They had 2 teams playing for the NIT championship.
Yep.
They had a team win the CBI. So it's big boy ball. That's for sure. So, when they go on all those away games and they're packing up their bags, they better make sure they pack their game up. Because, I mean, if not, you're going to get busted up in that league.
For sure. 3 teams in that league that had tremendous runs in postseason play. So, but Coach, man, we appreciate you so much. Like I said, for coming on, giving us some game. When it comes to recruiting and the importance of those roles on that staff, man. So I know come live period, I think next week or the week after.
The week after this weekend coming up.
We got 2 weekends this year, right?
Yeah, the 21st and the 28th.
Okay, cool. Good. But Coach, I know we'll see you out there, man. But I appreciate you stopping by, giving us some game, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, that's our show. As we see Kennesaw State fill out their staff, hell, we don't know. We talked about Coach Huff. Hell, we don't know. Maybe we'll see Coach Taylor in that gold and black.
No, sir.
No, sir. Come on, man.
You see me at Holy Innocents. Go Bears.
Go Bears, man. 305. Go Bears. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all, man. Everybody have a good night. We weren't planning on streaming tonight, and here we go. Another, hour and a half, almost 2 hours of this, man. So we appreciate y'all for joining. Appreciate everybody in the chat, man. We'll see y'all. No podcast tomorrow, man. I said I was gonna take a day off Friday. I didn't.
That's not true.
Are we podcasting on Easter, bro? We're not going live on Easter
tomorrow, bro. 5 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. You're going tomorrow. Give everybody a rundown of who you got on your show tomorrow.
Hey man, tomorrow's nice little show on Easter Sunday. We got the young lady Jada Richard will be on the show, the newly LSU commit. We also will have John Tate from the Western PA Bruins, who's holding the Western PA Tip-Off Classic next weekend, which is the premier AAU girls event for tip-off. It's kind of like Sean and Jerome's, Sean has the Icebreaker, Jerome has the Tip-Off Classic. Those are the premier ones on the boys' side. John's is the premier one on the girls' side. And we're working on getting Faith Blackstone and Coach Mike Sensei from CCBC National Champions, JUCO D2 on the women's side. And Faith is the JUCO D2 Player of the Year who has plenty of D1 offers. So that's going to be a nice little show for tomorrow for the ladies.
No doubt, man. Make sure y'all lock in. And Sylvester asking if this is live. Yes, it's live. We're closing those slides. Look at this. Y'all never sleep. No, we work. We work over here. But Slide, make sure you check out Dave's show Easter Sunday. Especially, I know you're a big women's basketball fan, so he got some great content going on over there covering the women's game. My man, a beast on the women's side, man. So make sure you check it out. But man, love you guys, man. Peace. Y'all enjoy it. I'll be watching Dave's show. I am not streaming tomorrow. I am taking a day off. So I'll see y'all. You hear my voice again on Monday. I'll see y'all, man. Peace out.
All right, fellas. Have a good one.